Right, so day 4 of the just past Easter prospecting trip to Tyndrum. I've just got back to the hole. The water levels dropped a little bit from where it was yesterday when I left it, so all of the snow, or most of the snow, has actually melted off the hillsides now. It must have ran through overnight and the water levels settled back down again. Now, as you can see, this is the huge slab that I'm working behind. It's like a triangular shape and sort of like resting on a couple of huge boulders underneath as well. Obviously, if I move those, the whole slab will fall in, but I don't think there's any moving them anyway because there's that much weight pressing down on them just because of the size of the slab in the first place. Now, hole wise underneath it, again, I don't know how well it can make it out, but I'm going at least 3, possibly even 4 foot behind the slab, especially with a 4-inch pump. That's a nice long pump, so I get right in, right at the very back, and that's where I'm sucking all the material out of. The couple of pickers that I got towards the end of yesterday, they were coming from this right hand side of the hole, and there's still all of this loose gravel material on the side as well, so there's plenty of material to keep me going for today. Whether to do today and tomorrow or not, I'm not sure. We'll just have to see how the day goes really. So as I say, I've just got here, I'm just about to get set up, start getting the first bucket filled, and we'll see what today's got to give. Right, so there's the first bucket ran, again all from the right hand side, and I'm going to be working along the side of the slab and up towards the bank, because obviously when I start taking material from the bottom, it's all going to start collapsing down anyway, so I might as well start taking the material from the sides and then raking out the larger stones and then seeing what material I can get. Just ran the first bucket through the sluice, just emptied it into the pan. I did see a little picker in the top mat. Obviously it's not panned yet, I'm just about to pan it out now, so we'll give it a pan through and see what's in it. Right, well there's the result of the first bucket. That larger piece there is the piece that I saw in the mat, but as you can see there's plenty of other smaller, well slightly smaller bits, nice mixture of different sizes in there. Must be probably about 10, 12 colours in there, so that's not a bad first pan of the day, especially for the first bucket. So as I say, there's plenty more time to crack on, and if they continue like that, should be a decent trip. So time to get bucket number 2 out and get that rattle through. Well, that's bucket number 2, ran, sluiced, panned. No big pickers this time, but a selection of smaller pieces. There's about 6 or 7 larger small pieces, as I say, and then there's probably about a dozen dots all in the black sand as well, so nothing of picker size that time, so I'll just get those snuffed out and crack on and get another bucket ran, and hopefully there'll be an increase in size on the next one. Right, well I've just ran bucket number 3, pretty much all out of one specific area in the hole. There's like a boulder sticking up, so I've just been working either side just so I can try and leverage it out with the rake. Just sluiced it through, and all the way through the sluice box, like for the bucket, that piece there was just shining out at me. I don't know how well the camera will make it out, but I'll pick it out in a second. But it's a nice, probably the biggest piece of the trip so far actually. I'll flush it out and I'll pick the camera up. Yeah, so there's that piece there. I see it's quite a nice piece, that. A little bit of thickness to it as well, rather than just the usual flat specky bits. So I'll put that in the pan, give the rest of it a pan out as well, and see what else is in it. Right, well there's the results of that bucket. As I say, the one nice bigger piece, a few smaller but still okay sized pieces, and then back onto the usual dots in the black sands as well. But yeah, I'm quite happy and pleased with that bigger piece there. That's definitely the biggest piece of the trip so far. I'll get some better photos of it later on. As I say, this is just a little action camera that I use, so it's not the best of picking up the finest of details. But it is what it is, and as I say, that's quite a nice piece that. So again, in the snuffer bottle and get bucket number 4 on the go. Well, another bucket ran, sluiced, panned, but just a couple of measly little specks that time. I said they probably won't even show up, so yeah, not much to show for a full bucket's worth that time. If it's going to continue like that, then I'll just fill the hole back in. Obviously it's been a good hole so far, so that might have just been a little dry spot, so I'll move away from the specific area where I was working and try a different spot in the hole. And I say if it's no good, I'll just fit it all back in and call it a day in the trip. But we'll see, there's still plenty of time for another, at least, probably 3 more buckets I would have thought, maybe 4. So we'll get them rattled through and we'll see what's going to come out of them. There, that's another bucket down, and two more okay sized pieces. Not a lot though really, just those two and a couple of micro dots scattered about here and there. But it's better than the last pan, but it's still not really great, so as I say, there's still going to be time for a few more buckets, but I think today's probably going to be the last day, so we'll see how the day ends up, and that'll make my decision for sure. But at the end of the day, it's still a little bit more to go into the stuffer bottle, so in it goes, and on to the next one. Right, so that's another bucket sluiced, panned, and it's not a bad bucket that time. Plenty of colours to choose from. There's a variety of different sizes as well, some bigger, some smaller, all the way down to the micro dotty stuff as well. So that's an improvement on the last couple of buckets anyway, so it gives a little bit of hope just to see out the rest of the day with. As I say, there's probably going to be time for maybe two more buckets, and then I'll probably head off home. I don't think I'll probably head up, stay around tomorrow as well. As I say, it's getting a bit chilly again, so we'll see how the day ends first of all, but I think today's probably going to be the last day, but hopefully we'll get a few more buckets like that, if not a little bit better. We'll see. Well, another bucket ran, sluiced, panned. Another selection of pieces, but nothing of particularly big size, just small to medium, small bits really, but there's probably about 10 in there altogether, but it's still not really that great, but it's still golden every pan, golden every bucket, so it's still something I suppose. But as the day's getting on now, I'm going to run one more bucket and then fill the hole back in. I've got all of these big stones to the side, all of the tailings on top of the slab, they're just all going to get shot back in. That huge one to the side there, there's going to be some big stones going back into here, so when I'm finished it should be pretty much as I arrive. So one more bucket to go after I get these snuffered up, and then that'll be it. Right, so that's the last bucket of the day, and I think that's going to be the last one of the trip as well. The weather's turned, and tomorrow, if I did stay, would have only been a half day, because I've got a 5-hour drive ahead of me regardless of which day I go. So I might as well head home now, and I'll still have a little bit of weekend left. But at least I've been rewarded with a decent sized piece towards the end, and a nice selection of other pits as well. And that's just all out of the last bucket, so that's not too bad at all. So I'll show the final total for the trip in a second. First off, I've just got to get all this snuffered up and get that hole raked in. The water level itself has raised because of all the water. The water itself is going to be melting any remaining snow that was on the hillside as well, so you can actually see the water level against the slab is already raised about 2 inches, so it's going to be filling up pretty quickly on its own just by the water pushing all the stones in that I've laid on top of the slab. But I'm still going to pile it all in, get it levelled off, and then that'll be me for the trip.